The rain-slicked streets of Seattle blurred past the taxi window like a watercolor nightmare, but it was Elias Thorne's face that slammed into me harder than any storm. I hadn't seen him in 12 years, not since I shoved him away in the dim-lit halls of Ridge Valley High. His signing hands frozen midair as I spat the lie that would echo through our small Maine town like a gunshot. Now, here he was, striding across the lobby of Thorne Innovations, his tailored suit hugging a frame that had sharpened into something commanding, his dark eyes locking onto mine with the precision of a blade I deserved. Wyatt Harlan, he signed first, his movements deliberate, lips curving into a smile that didn't reach those eyes, the ones ID once memorized in stolen summer afternoons by the Penobscot River. You look like you've been running from ghosts, or maybe just from me. I swallowed the lump in my throat, the one that tasted like teenage cowardice and fresh coffee gone cold. Part 1. The interview room at Thorne Innovations smelled like polished oak and ambition, the kind that seeped into your pores and made you question every choice that led you here. ID driven up from Portland that morning, my beat-up Ford rattling like it knew the punchline to this joke before I did. Seattle had always felt like a distant dream, all glass towers and fog-shrouded ferries. A far cry from the salt-crusted pines of Ridge Valley, where secrets fermented slow and ugly. But jobs were scarce after the layoffs at the mill, and when ID seen the ad for a junior project manager at this tech startup specializing in accessibility software, something twisted in my gut. Elias Thorne, founder and CEO. The name alone should have been a red flag, but desperation has a way of blinding you to the fine print. The receptionist, a sharp-eyed woman named Mara with a pixie cut and a name tag that screamed efficiency, had led me down a corridor lined with abstract murals, swirling blues and silvers that evoked waves crashing silent against deaf ears. Fitting, I thought, my palms slicking against my slacks. She knocked once on the frosted glass door before pushing it open, and there he was. Elias. He rose from behind a desk that could have doubled as an altar, all sleek lines and hidden drawers, his presence filling the space like he owned not just the company but the very air. At 18, head been lanky, all elbows and quiet intensity. His sandy blonde hair perpetually tousled by the Maine wind. His skin tanned from endless hours sketching by the docks. Now, at 30, he was carved from something harder. Broad shoulders straining against a charcoal button-down, jaw set like it had been chiseled by years of proving the world wrong. His eyes, that piercing green that used to soften only for me, scanned me head to toe, clinical and cool. Wyatt, he signed, his hands fluid yet edged with steel. It's been a while. I nodded, forcing my own hands into motion, the basic ASL ID dusted off from online tutorials the night before feeling clumsy as a first kiss. Yeah. Good to see you, Eli. He didn't correct the old nickname. Instead, he gestured to the chair opposite him, sinking back into his leather throne with the grace of a man who'd learned to command silence. The interpreter, a neutral-faced woman in her 40s named Lena, mirrored his signs, her voice steady and devoid of inflection, but I barely heard her. My focus was on him, on the way his fingers drummed once against the desk, a rhythm ID recognized anywhere. The Morse code for regret or maybe just impatience. Tell me, Wyatt, why Thorne Innovations? Why now? The question hung there, layered like the fog outside. I launched into my rehearsed pitch, my degree in business from the University of Maine, the 2 years grinding at a Portland marketing firm, how their mission to revolutionize communication for the hearing-impaired hit home because I'd seen the barriers firsthand. Lies wrapped in half-truths. The truth was simpler, uglier. I needed the money, and part of me, the masochistic part, needed to face the wreckage ID left behind. He listened, chin propped on steepled fingers, his gaze never wavering. When I finished, he leaned forward, signing without breaking eye contact. And Ridge Valley? You left without a word. Now you're back in my orbit. Coincidence? Lena's voice echoed the words, but they landed like fists. My mouth went dry. I signed back, haltingly. It wasn't like that. Life happened. A ghost of a laugh shook his shoulders, silent but seismic. Life, that's what we called it back then, wasn't it? When you decided our life wasn't worth the whispers. The room tilted. Memories flooded in unbidden. The summer before senior year, the air thick with salt and possibility. Ridge Valley was a speck on the Maine coast, all lobster traps and lobster-red faces, where the high school football field doubled as the town square for gossip. I'd been the golden boy, Wyatt Harlan, quarterback with a scholarship offer from UMaine and a dad who preached bootstraps over breakfast. Elias was the outsider, transferred in from Portland after his folks split. His deafness a badge he wore with defiant sketches in his notebook, dreams of apps that would bridge worlds no one else saw. We'd met in art class, me doodling plays on the margins, him signing critiques that made me laugh until my sides ached. It started innocent study sessions in the library, hands brushing over shared pencils. Then deeper, late nights by the river, his fingers tracing words on my palm when speech felt too frail. I love you, head signed one twilight, the sun bleeding orange across the water, and I'd kissed him there, tasting salt and secrets, believing we could outrun the tide. But senior year crashed in like a nor'easter. The team started noticing, sidelong glances in the locker room, Coach Harlan's pointed silences at dinner. My dad, with his calloused hands and Vietnam scars, had pulled me aside one night after a game. Son, whatever this phase is, end it clean. Folks talk. And in Ridge Valley, talk sinks ships. I did end it, clean as a blade. In the school parking lot, under the sodium glow of street lamps, with half the team idling nearby in their trucks. Elias had come to congratulate me on the win, his smile bright as he signed, "You were incredible out there. Proud of you." And I'd frozen, the weight of eyes on us like chains. "Not here," I'd hissed, voice low, shoving his shoulder just hard enough to sting. "We're not. Whatever you think. It's done." His face crumpled, hands dropping like lead. The betrayal spread fast. Me, feeding the rumors to deflect. Elias hitting on me, some creepy obsession. By Monday, he was a ghost in the halls, transferring out mid-semester, vanishing to some boarding school in Boston. I got my scholarship, my fresh start, but the hollow in my chest never filled. College blurred into jobs, a string of meaningless hookups with women who tasted like safety but felt like ash. Until now. Elias signed something to Lena, who related softly, "You're qualified, Wyatt, but this isn't charity. If I hire you, you work like hell. No favors. No history." I nodded, throat tight. Understood. He stood then, extending a hand. Not for a shake, but to sign one last thing up close, his fingers inches from mine. "Welcome to the team. Don't make me regret it." The door clicked shut behind me, and I leaned against the wall in the corridor, breath ragged. Revenge? Or redemption? Either way, I'd walked into his web, and the silk felt like home. That first week blurred into a grind that left calluses on my soul. Thorn Innovations occupied the top 3 floors of a converted warehouse in Seattle's Pioneer Square. All exposed brick and open-plan chaos. Developers hunched over screens that hummed with code for voice-to-sign translators and haptic feedback gloves. My desk was a corner cubicle with a view of the Puget Sound on clear days, but mostly it was rain-streaked glass mirroring my frayed edges. Elias ran the place like a conductor with an invisible baton. Silent meetings where everyone learned basic ASL or got left behind, his directives flashing across shared screens in real-time captions. He was everywhere and nowhere. Approving prototypes in the lab, charming investors over lunch I couldn't afford, his laugh a rare vibration you felt more than heard. I caught glimpses, him signing rapid fire with his COO, a no-nonsense Latina named Sophia who mothered the team like it was her own. Or alone in the break room, staring out at the ferries, his profile etched in loss I recognized too well. My role was grunt work at first, coordinating beta tests with user groups, mostly deaf and hard-of-hearing folks from the community center downtown. I'd fumble through sign, earning polite nods, but Elias never intervened. Not until Friday, when the server crashed mid-demo for a group of college kids from Gallaudet Outreach. Panic rippled through the room. Apologies flying, texts scrambling. I grabbed the whiteboard, scribbling explanations while signing what I could. But it was Elias who swept in, calm as a lighthouse in fog. He knelt by the lead user, a teen girl with purple-streaked hair, and signed fluidly, her face lighting up as he troubleshot on the spot. The fix took minutes, but the trust he rebuilt? Priceless. Later, in the empty conference room, he cornered me. You froze, Wyatt. Why? I shrugged, avoiding his eyes. Haven't used it much. Rusty. Bullshit. You were fluent once. What changed? You know what changed? Me. His hands stilled, then resumed slower. The boy who taught me to skip stones on the river? He's gone. I met his gaze then, the green depths pulling me under. He's trying to come back. A beat, then practice with me. After hours, or you're out. It wasn't a request. So we did 3 nights a week in the dim-lit lab, screens glowing like fireflies. Head correct my forms with touches that lingered too long. A thumb on my wrist to steady a wave, fingers brushing my palm during hellos. The air thickened with unsaid things, the hum of servers underscoring our silences. One evening, as thunder rattled the windows, he signed, "Remember the storm after homecoming? We hid in your truck, rain pounding like drums." I do. You drew lightning on the fogged glass. And you traced hearts around it. His eyes softened, just a fraction. What happened to that Wyatt? He died, I signed, voice cracking though he couldn't hear it. When I killed us. Elias leaned closer, the space between us electric. Maybe ghosts can resurrect. That night, I drove to my cramped Capitol Hill apartment, the city lights smearing like accusations. Sleep evaded me, tangled in sheets that smelled of cheap detergent and regret. Dreams pulled me back to Ridge Valley. Elias laughing silent under starlight, my hands signing promises I broke at dawn. Monday brought the first crack in his armor. A big client pitch, Microsoft scouts sniffing around for acquisition talks. Elias prepped us like soldiers, but nerves frayed him. I saw it in the tick of his jaw during dry runs. When the day came, I shadowed him into the boardroom, heart hammering as suits in $1,000 ties grilled him on scalability. He shone, signing with Lena, but owning the room with charts that projected empathy into pixels. Midway, an exec leaned in, voice dripping condescension. "Elias, love the passion, but have you considered voice integration for broader appeal?" The room stilled. Elias's hands clenched, but I jumped in before Lena could translate fully. "Sir, with respect, that's the point. Broader appeal means everyone, not just the hearing majority. Our haptics bridge that gap without compromise." Eyes turned to me, then back to him. He nodded once, signing approval mid-flow, and the pitch sealed with handshakes all around. After, in the elevator descending to the garage, he turned to me, signing fiercely. "That was good. Reckless, but good." "Felt right," I replied, "like old times." His smile was tentative, a crack in the ice. "Dinner? To celebrate. My place." The invitation hung, loaded. I nodded, pulse racing as the doors slid open to rain-swept streets. His condo overlooked Elliott Bay, all floor-to-ceiling windows and minimalist furniture that screamed success earned the hard way. Head cooked, pasta with clams, steam rising like ghosts from the pot, and we ate on the balcony, city lights twinkling below like fallen stars. No interpreter, just signs and scribbled notes on napkins when my hands faltered. Talk turned to the years apart. He told me of Boston, the isolation of a deaf kid in a hearing world, clawing through MIT on scholarships and spite. How Thorne Innovations started as a dorm room hack, now valued at millions. I confessed the scholarship that fizzled into debt, the jobs that chewed me up, the parade of almost relationships that never filled the Eli-shaped void. "Why now?" He signed again, fork paused. "Why Seattle? Truth serum in the wine." "Because I heard you were here." Saw the article in TechCrunch. Couldn't stay away. His eyes searched mine, stormy. You think you can waltz back and fix it? No, but I want to try. He stood abruptly, clearing plates with clipped motions. Inside, over espresso that burned my tongue, he pulled out an old sketchbook, pages yellowed. Flipping to a drawing. Two boys by a river, one signing love to the other, faces blurred in pencil smudges. I kept this, he said via note, even after. Guilt twisted like a knife. I'm sorry, Eli, for the lies, the rumors. I was scared. Of what? His signs were sharp. Of loving me, or of who that made you? Both. In Ridge Valley, being gay was a death sentence for dreams. But I chose wrong. I chose them over you. He closed the book softly. And now I choose this. If you'll let me. The air hummed. He stepped closer, hand lifting to my cheek, thumb tracing the line of my jaw. I leaned in, breath mingling, and then his lips were on mine. Soft at first, then desperate, years pouring out in the press of bodies. We stumbled to the couch, clothes shedding like old skins, his hands mapping me like sacred text. Silent gasps, the rain our only witness, as we reclaimed what I'd stolen. Dawn found us tangled, his head on my chest, my fingers in his hair. For the first time in years, the hollow filled. But as coffee brewed and reality seeped in, doubt whispered. Was this forgiveness, or just the first act of his revenge? The glow of that night lingered like morning mist over the bay, but work snapped us back to reality with the bite of a cold wind off the sound. Thorn Innovations buzzed with post-pitch euphoria. High fives in the break room, Sophia popping champagne at lunch, but Elias kept his distance, professional as a scalpel. Our after-hours signs sharpened, laced with double meanings. A wave goodbye that hooked fingers too long, a nod across the conference table that lingered on lips. I threw myself into the role, beta-testing prototypes until my eyes blurred, coordinating with users who'd become familiar faces. Jamal, the barista with cochlear implants who dreamed of DJing. Lena, our interpreter, who'd confide over coffee about her trans son navigating college. Their stories chipped at my walls, reminding me why Elias built this empire. Not for glory, but for the quiet revolutions that let people like him, like them, breathe free. Yet undercurrents pulled. Whispers in the kitchenette. Is that the new guy banging the boss? I ignored them, but Elias heard, his network of eyes and ears as vast as the company intranet. One afternoon, he summoned me to his office, door clicking shut like a vault. Rumors, he signed, face unreadable. They say you're my pet project. Heat flooded my cheeks. They're wrong. Are they? His hands paused, vulnerability flickering. Last night wasn't a one-off, Wyatt. But if this leaks, it tanks everything. Investors spook easy. I get it. We keep it quiet. For now. He nodded, but the air crackled with unspoken fears. As I turned to leave, he caught my wrist. Wait, tonight, my sister's in town. Dinner. Family thing. Come. Surprise hit like a rogue wave. Head never mentioned family beyond the divorce scars. Sure. ID like that. Clara Thorne arrived like a gust from the Atlantic, mid-40s, salt and pepper bob, hugging Elias with a fierceness that translated through bone. Shed driven down from Vancouver, her laugh booming as she air-kissed my cheeks. So you're the infamous Wyatt. Eli talks in his sleep, you know, all signs and sighs. Elias flushed, signing rapid scolds she batted away like flies. We piled into her rental SUV, heading to a waterfront bistro in Ballard, the kind with nautical knots on the walls and chowder thick as regret. Over lobster rolls, Clara grilled me gently. Ridge Valley tales, my folks back in Maine, the football glory days. Elias watched, translating snippets, his foot brushing mine under the table. A secret Morse. Then she turned serious, spoon clinking her bowl. Eli, he clammed up after high school. Wouldn't say why he left. but I saw the hurt, like head lost his anchor. Elias signed sharply, "Drop it," but she persisted, eyes on me. "Whatever you did, kid, you fixed it. Because he deserves whole." Guilt soured the seafood in my gut. I signed to him, ignoring her puzzled blink. "And he'll keep fixing." The drive back was quiet, rain pattering the roof like impatient fingers. At his door, Clara hugged us both, whispering to me he's tough, but fragile where it counts. Don't break him again. Alone, Elias poured scotch, handing me a glass with a wry sign. "Liquid courage. Clara means well, but she's right." I sipped, the burn steadying me. "About what? You, me, this." He gestured between us, then to the city beyond. "I built walls higher than these towers. You're the crack. Then let's widen it." I set the glass down, pulling him close. Our kisses tasted of salt and smoke, bodies remembering paths long overgrown. We moved to the bedroom, sheets cool against fevered skin. His hands eloquent in the dark, tracing collarbones, spelling desire on my thigh. Silent symphony, peaks crashing like waves on hidden rocks, leaving us adrift in afterglow. Morning brought coffee and confessions. Curled against him, I traced the scar on his shoulder. "Appendectomy at 12, head signed once. Remember when I told you about my dad?" He began via text on his phone, propped between us. How he bailed after the diagnosis. Turns out he resurfaced last year. Lawyer emails out of the blue. Wants to meet. "Shit, you going?" "Haven't decided. Part of me wants to sign fuck you and block him. But blood's blood." I get it. More than you know. My own dad, after the rumors hit, he never said a word. Just colder shoulders, fewer words. When I came out officially in college, radio silence. Haven't spoken in years. Elias squeezed my hand. Families, they carve us deepest. We dressed slow, stealing touches, but the day yanked us apart. Back-to-back meetings, a prototype launch looming. At the office, normalcy reigned. Me fielding vendor calls, him in strategy huddles. But mid-afternoon, crisis hit. A leak. Our haptic glove schematics splashed on a rival forum site, tagged with snide comments. Thorn playing deaf card for clicks? Paranoia rippled. Sophia stormed my desk. "Wyatt, you clear your browser history?" We all signed NDAs. Of course. Who's got access? Everyone with dev keys, including exes. The word hung. I thought of my laptop, left open at the coffee shop that morning. But doubt seated. Had Elias tested me? Planted bait to see if ID crack? Evening found us in the lab, combing code till eyes burned. He signed frustration, pacing. This could kill us. Investors pull if trust erodes. Well, find it, I assured, though my gut twisted. Around midnight, a trace pinged. IP from an old intern who'd ghosted months back, bitter over a firing. Relief washed, but not clean. As we locked up, Elias paused at the door. "Wyatt, you tell me, right? If something felt off?" "Always." But the question lingered, a shadow on our truce. That shadow grew legs the next week. A new hire, Tyler Voss. Tall, cocky ex-Marine with a buzz cut and a grin that screamed trouble. Joined the dev team. He flirted shamelessly in the kitchen, slinging coffee with winks. "New blood needs allies, Harlan. What's your poison?" Elias noticed, his signs to me terser during practice. Voss is sharp, but sloppy with boundaries. "He's harmless," I signed back. "Just posturing." But jealousy brewed, subtle as fog. One night, after a team happy hour at a dive in Fremont, beers flowing, karaoke butchering pop hits, Tyler cornered me by the jukebox. "Heard you're tight with the boss. Perks?" "Back off," I muttered, shoving past. But Elias, across the room signing with Sophia, caught the tail end via her relay. His face shuddered when I approached. "Fun?" he signed, clipped. "Yeah." till it wasn't. Home that night, tension simmered. He poured wine, but his hands shook slightly. Voss remind you of someone? Back in Ridge Valley? The quarterback jock? Low blow. No, he's nothing. Then why entertain it? A flash of hurt. I see the looks. Jesus, Eli. It's nothing. You're seeing ghosts. Am I? He signed faster, storm building. Or are you still scared? Of us in the light? The words landed like slaps. I stood, voice rising though useless. You think I'd throw this away? After everything? Prove it, then. His challenge hung, eyes daring. I crossed the room, kissing him fierce, hands fumbling buttons. We tumbled to the rug, urgency masking anger, bodies colliding in a tangle of need and proof. Gasp silent, nails digging crescents, release a temporary dam against the flood. Panting, he signed against my chest. Sorry, insecurities die hard. Me too, but we're in this, no half measures. Yet as sleep claimed him, I stared at the ceiling, Tyler's grin echoing. Was it paranoia, or the first thread unraveling? The unraveling accelerated mid-month. Clara extended her stay, crashing at Elias's, turning the condo into a whirlwind of home-cooked pierogies and family lore. She dragged us to Pike Place, haggling over salmon with tourists, her laughter bridging our silences. One evening, over board games that devolved into charades, she pulled me aside while Elias stepped out for air. He's falling hard, Wyatt, like before. Don't let pride sink you this time. I swallowed. Won't. Good, because that boy, he built this life from ashes you scattered, deserves the real deal. Her words haunted as we prepped for the haptic glove launch. A gala at the Museum of Pop Culture, black ties and tech elite mingling under neon relics. Elias shone in a slim-fit tux, signing sound bites to reporters, me at his elbow as +1 disguised as colleague. Tyler cornered us by the guitar exhibit, champagne flute in hand. Killer night, boss. Harlan, you clean up nice. Date material. Elias stiffened, but I laughed it off. Thanks, man. Enjoy the show. Later, on the balcony overlooking the exhibit floor, Elias signed, Voss is pushing. Fired him tomorrow. Whoa, harsh? Necessary. These, like echoes of your old team, reminds me why I left. Guilt gnawed, my past poisoning his present. Let me handle it. No, his hands firm. This is my company, my rules. The launch demo went flawless, users signing praise, deals inked on napkins. Elation buzzed as we slipped away to a side room, toasting with stolen flutes. His kiss tasted of victory, hands roaming under jacket. But midway, his phone buzzed. A text from unknown. Remember me? Ridge Valley High. Ask Wyatt about the river. Ice flooded my veins. Elias pulled back, eyes narrowing as he showed me the screen. Who? I whispered, though I knew. He signed, furious. Explain. Now. It was Jake. My old teammate, the one who'd spread the rumors widest. Drunk dialing grudges, probably from some Maine bar. Had found Elias online. Petty revenge for a life he envied. Elias paced, hands flying. You told him? About us? No. God, no. It was nothing. Ancient history. Liar. The word via text. Stark. You're still tied to them. To that fear. Eli, please. Get out. He pointed to the door, face a mask of betrayal. I left, tux rumpled. Rain soaking me to the Seattle streets. Cab to my apartment, mind reeling. History wasn't dead. It was a bomb with a long fuse. Days blurred into avoidance. Me burying in spreadsheets, him in boardrooms. Tyler's firing sent ripples. Whispers turning to stares. Sophia pulled me aside one lunch. Rough patch? He values you. Don't let pride. Too late, I muttered. It's broken. But broken things mend crooked. That Friday, a storm hit, gale force winds howling off the Olympics, power flickering in the office. Evac early, but I lingered, combing files for the leak's ghost trail. Footsteps. Elias, coat slung over arm. Go home, he signed. Safely. Wait, I stood, desperate. About Jake, he's nothing. A bully from back then. I didn't tell him shit. Then why text me? To hurt. To remind me you're better off without my baggage. His eyes softened, fraction. Maybe, but I miss the Wyatt who fought for us. He's here, fighting now. Thunder cracked. He stepped closer, signing into the storm. Prove it again. We kissed under emergency lights, urgent and raw, hands signing apologies on slick skin. To his place, stripping in the foyer, bodies slick with rain and want. Bed a battlefield of forgiveness, peaks shattering doubts, leaving us spent and synced. Morning over eggs Clara whipped up. Shed stayed the night, he signed. Truce? Truce. But deeper, we're building something real. No more ghosts. Yet as we dressed for work, his phone buzzed again. Clara. Dad in town. Wants to meet. Tomorrow. Elias paled. The reckoning wed dodged now crashed in. The storm broke by noon, leaving Seattle scrubbed clean, streets gleaming like fresh resolve. But inside Thorn Innovations, tension coiled tighter than the cables snaking the server room. Elias threw himself into damage control. Press releases quashing the leak rumors, one-on-ones with shaken devs, while I shadowed, a silent sentinel. Clara's text loomed like a thunderhead, her follow-up call, relayed via video, firm. He's here, Eli, at the hotel, neutral ground. You owe yourself this. He signed to me later, in the quiet of his office. Oh, or curse. Both, but facing it. That's you. Brave as always. A ghost smile. Come with moral support. Of course. The meet was set for a Saturday brunch at a harborside cafe in Magnolia. Neutral as fresh linen, waves lapping pilings like hesitant apologies. Elias dressed sharp. Gray wool overcoat over slacks, hair combed but eyes shadowed. I drove, his hand on my thigh a steady anchor through traffic snarls. Richard Thorne waited at a corner table, silver fox with a lawyer's polish. Khakis crisp, Rolex glinting like accusation. Mid-50s, broader than Elias remembered, but the eyes matched. Green, wary. He stood as we approached, extending a hand Elias ignored, opting for a stiff nod. Son, Richard's voice boomed, too loud for the space. You look well. Elias slid into the booth, signing to me rapid. Translate everything. No filter. I will. To Richard, he says hi. How's the drive from? Boston. Traffic hell. Richard sat, menu in hand like a shield. Your mother mentioned the company. Impressive. Small talk clunked like loose change. Weather, the ferry delays, Clara's latest knitting scandal. Then Richard leaned in, voice dropping. Elias, about why I'm here. The divorce. I handled it wrong. Your mom got the settlement custody. I buried myself in work. Cowardice. Elias signed, Facestone cowardice. Nice word for abandoning a deaf kid who needed you. Richard winced, glancing at me. I know. Therapy helped me see that. I want to make amends. Start slow dinners, calls. Calls? Elias scoffed via my relay. You ignored my texts for years. Now, when I'm successful, you show. Not that. Pride in you, son. Always had it. Just didn't know how to show. The server interrupted with mimosas. Elias pushed his away untouched. I squeezed his knee under the table, a silent him here. But the air thickened, old wounds festering. Richard pulled a photo from his wallet. Elias at 10. Gap-toothed grin by a Christmas tree. Richard's arm around him. Last good memory. I kept this. Reminder. Elias stared, hands trembling. Then signed, keep your reminders. I built without you. Hurt flashed in Richard's eyes. Fair. But blood's thicker. Give me a chance? Elias stood abruptly, chair scraping. Think on it. He strode out, me trailing apologies and tossing cash for the untouched brunch. Outside, wind whipped off the sound. Elias pacing the pier. Fuck him, he signed, furious. Thinks a photo fixes silence? No, but maybe it's a start. You decide the pace. He deflated, shoulders slumping. What if I can't? What if I'm still that broken kid? Then you're my broken kid. I pulled him close, kiss fierce against the gale. We got this. Back at the condo, Clara waited with tea and tissues, her hug enveloping. Tough, huh? Richard's always been a sail with no rudder. Elias nodded, signing wearily. Why now? Guilt or loneliness? Dads like that wake up too late, but you're stronger. We crashed early, bodies entwining for comfort, slow and tender. Hands exploring like rediscovering maps, whispers signed on skin. Sleep came fitful, dreams of rivers and recriminations. Monday roared in with a vengeance. The leak investigation unearthed more. Not just schematics, but emails, personal ones, Elias venting to a mentor about Ridge Valley scars. Plastered anonymized on the forum, twisted into sob stories for clicks. Press swarmed. Is Thorne's CEO too fragile for big tech? Elias fielded it like a prizefighter. Presser in the lobby, signing defiance with Lena at his side. Our story isn't pity, he declared via captions. It's power. Hackers want to silence, we amplify. The team rallied, but exhaustion carved hollows under his eyes. That night, practice skipped. Instead, we walked Gasworks Park, rusting relics silhouetted against dusk. He signed, hands heavy, exposed. Again, like high school but global. Worse, but you're not alone. Remember? A nod, fingers lacing mine. Thanks to you. The warmth faded as we neared home. Tyler Voss, loitering by Elias's building, duffel at feet. Fired but fighting boss, this a shakedown? Leaks my fault? Nah, I covered for your boy here. What? Elias signed, me relaying. Tyler smirked. Saw Harlan poking servers late. Sloppy. Or sabotage. Lies. I stepped forward. You're bitter. Leave. He laughed. Bitter. Ask your golden boy about Jake. Old pal from Maine. Says Harlan's got history, betrayals, closets. Sound familiar? Elias froze, eyes on me. Tyler, get out, he signed via my frantic relay. Security's coming. Tyler slung his bag, sauntering off with a wave, but the seed rooted deep. Inside, silence screamed. Elias poured bourbon, signing slow, truth. Now. It was Jake, I admitted, texting him after the gala. Stupid drunk call. Told him to back off, but he twisted it. You called him? After? To protect you. He was harassing. By dredging our past? His hands shook. You're still connected. Still pulling me into your mess. Eli. No. This us, it's too much. Too soon. He gestured wildly. I need space. The door shut soft behind me, but the slam echoed eternal. I wandered Capitol Hill bars till last call, shots blurring the pain. Home to my empty bed, scrolling old photos. Elias by the river, young and unguarded. My fault again. Days dragged. Work became minefield, Elias distant, directives via email. Sophia mediated, he's hurting. Give time. But time festered. Richard called Elias daily, voicemails piling like unanswered pleas. One evening, I overheard Clara on speaker. He's spiraling, Eli. The leak, the dad, Wyatt, it's avalanche. Tell him I'm fine, Elias signed, but his face betrayed the lie. I cornered him post-meeting in the stairwell. This avoidance is killing us. You killed us once. His sign's bitter. What's one more? Lo, I came back to build, not break. Then build alone. He brushed past, leaving me adrift. The breaking point came Friday, a team offsite at Alki Beach, team-building bonfire to boost morale. Rain held off, waves lapping as we roasted marshmallows, stories shared around flames. Elias sat apart, sketching in the sand with a stick, abstract waves, perhaps drowning men. Tyler crashed it, uninvited, beer in hand, flanked by two burly friends. Party poopers, he slurred. Thought we'd toast the leak king. Security, Sophia hissed, dialing. But chaos erupted. Tyler lunging at Elias, words flying. Freak CEO, hiding behind signs. I tackled him, fists flying, sand and blood mixing as we rolled. His pals joined, punches landing till team pulled us apart, cops' sirens wailing distant. Elias watched, untouched but shattered, signing to no one. Enough. Hospital stitched my split lip, but the Real wound gaped in his eyes as he visited brief, clinical. You okay? Via text. Yeah. You? No. This toxicity. It's us. Or me. Bullshit. It's him. External. Is it? Jake Tyler, your orbit pulls poison. Then let me orbit you. Protect. Too late for heroes. He left, door whispering goodbye. That night, alone with stitches itching, I drove to the airport, impulse ticket to Portland, then bus to Ridge Valley. Home. Face the source. The town hadn't changed. Sagging porches, lobster buoys bobbing in the harbor, air thick with brine and memory. My childhood house loomed, paint peeling like old lies. Dad on the stoop, older, grayer, pipe smoke curling. Wyatt, he stood slow. Been years. Yeah. Need to talk. Inside smelled of pipe tobacco and regret. Mom gone to cancer 5 years back, unspoken. We sat at the scarred oak table, coffee steaming black. Heard about your fancy job, Dad grunted. City boy now. More than that, I leaned in. About senior year. Elias. His face hardened. That phase. Buried. No, it was love. And I buried him to please you. The town. Cowards. Watch your tone, son. Truth's tone is sharp. You taught me to hide. For what? Empty wins? He deflated. Pipe forgotten. I was wrong. Scared myself. Lost your ma. Made me cling tighter. Apologize? To him? Can't. But to you? Sorry. It wasn't enough, but a start. I left at dawn, lighter, bus rumbling back to Seattle. Elias waited at my door when I returned. Rain-soaked, eyes red-rimmed. Clara called. Said you went home. Confronted ghosts. His hands trembled. Me too. Richard met again. Told him go to hell. For now. Good. And Tyler? Charges pressed. He's done. I pulled him in, kiss salt-tanged. No more space. We're endgame. Bed that night was reclamation. Slow, deliberate, bodies sinking like code finally compiling. Hands signing eternities on sweat-slick skin. Release a vow sealed in silence. But vows test in fire. Monday brought inferno. Acquisition offer from Google 8 figures but strings. Relocate HQ to Mountain View. Elias as VP under hearing execs. Board pushed yes, he wavered. Dinner at his candlelit salmon we debated. It's security I signed. Legacy. or sell out. His eyes fierce. This is mine. For us, the community. Then fight, but together. He nodded, decision crystallizing. No deal. The rejection leaked. Stock dipped. Vultures circled. Sleepless nights, strategy sessions till dawn. One pre-dawn. Tangled in sheets he signed. Scared? Terrified. But you're worth it. Love you, Wyatt. First time since the river. Heart swelled. Love you too. Yet betrayal brewed unseen. Sophia pulled me aside Wednesday. Check your emails. Anomalous access. My stomach dropped. Not again. Trace led to me? No, framed. Logs doctored, pointing to my login during the beach fight. Sabotage. But whose puppet? Elias confronted, face ashen. Explain. I can't. It's fake. Trust me. Trust. The word cracked. Like before? No, he turned away, world fracturing anew. The accusation hung in the air like exhaust fumes from an idling truck on I-5, thick and choking. Elias's office, once a sanctuary of polished ambition, now felt like an interrogation room. Him behind the desk, arms crossed, green eyes drilling into me with the force of every unanswered sign from our youth. I stood there, laptop clutched like a shield, the doctored logs glowing on his screen like neon lies. It's not me, I signed desperately, hands shaking so bad the motions blurred. Someone framed me. Checked the timestamps, I was at the ER getting stitches. He didn't flinch, just tapped his phone. Pulling up security cams. Me. Slipping into the building post-fight. Badge swipe at 11:47 p.m. The server access pinged at 11:52. Tight window, Wyatt. Convenient. Convenient? Fury ignited. You think ID sabotage you? After everything? His response was a note on his pad, scrawled sharp. After Jake, Tyler, your connections keep biting. Maybe subconsciously. Subconsciously? Fuck that. I slammed the laptop down. This is revenge. Yours or mine doesn't matter. It's poison. He stood then, signing slow, deliberate. Poison we invited. Get out. Pending review. The door hissed shut behind me, sealing 12 years of wreckage plus these fragile new ones. I stormed to my desk, packing files into a box that mocked my tenure. 3 months of post-its and coffee rings, dreams reduced to cardboard. Sophia hovered, face etched with sympathy. Wyatt hell cool. He's hurt, not hateful. Hurt by ghosts, not me. Tell him that. I left with the box under arm, elevator descent a freefall mirroring my gut. Outside, Seattle wept steady rain, blurring the Space Needle into a phallic accusation. My apartment waited empty, microwave dinners and regrets for company. Text to Clara, he thinks I leaked. Framed. Her reply, stubborn ass. Give space but fight dirty, truth. Fight I did. Hired a freelance hacker buddy from Portland, ethical ex-NSA, owed me from a bar bet. By evening, report in hand, IP spoofed from a VPN in Tacoma, tied to a burner account. Cross-reference. Tyler Voss's old gym membership, same zip. Vindication burned hot. I emailed Elias the file, CCING Sophia and legal proof. Your move. No reply. Night crawled. Insomnia gnawing. Dreams twisted. Ridge Valley docks. Elias signing love as I pushed him into the black water. Bubbles of betrayal rising. Dawn brought Clara at my door. Thermos of coffee in mittened hands. Crashing here. Ellis a fortress. Thanks. He's wrong. I know. But pain blinds. Remember when he lost his hearing aids in the river? Blamed himself for weeks. Kid stuff. No. Foundation. Trust shattered once shatters easy. We talked till noon, her Vancouver life, my main scars, then plotted. Confront Richard? Leverage? No. Elias solo. We support. Afternoon. I wandered Pike Place. Fishmongers tossing salmon like frisbees. Tourists oblivious to my unraveling. A street signer buskied. Hands dancing haikus of loss. Tipped heavy, walked on. Evening. Buzz from Sophia, he's looking at the report. Tense meeting. Progress? Maybe. Stay frosty. Frosty as a Seattle winter. I hit a dive bar in Belltown. Nursing IPAs till last call. Confessions spilling to a bartender with tattoos like Elias's sketches. Home blurry. Collapse into bed. Tuesday, radio silence. I freelanced from coffee shops, pitching resumes to faceless core. But Thorne pulled, checked their site obsessively, stock ticking up on a new patent tease. Wednesday, bomb, press release. Thorne Innovations partners with Microsoft on expanded accessibility suite. Elias quoted, building bridges, not walls. Our pitch, my input, pride warred with ache. Clara dragged me to dinner. Thai in Capitol Hill, spice masking tears. He's thawing. Mentioned you. Good sign? Guarded yes. Give it weekend. Weekend shattered that. Friday night, Richard's call to Elias escalated. Voicemail leaked somehow, him slurring. Ungrateful brat after all I gave. Elias snapped. Drove to the hotel. Confrontation exploding in the lobby. Signs flying. Security intervening. Clara called me frantic. He's unraveling. Come. I bolted, rain-slick roads to the Four Seasons. Lobby chaos. Elias pacing, Richard red-faced by the concierge. Enough, I signed, inserting between. This toxicity ends now. Richard sneered. Who's this? Boyfriend? Elias signed fierce. Yes, and better than you. The word hung, public, irrevocable. Richard deflated. Fine, but call when ready. He left. Elias sagged against me. Stupid, but true. We cabbed to his condo, Clara trailing. Inside, bourbon flowed, stories unspooling. Richard's neglect, my dad's silence, the parallel prisons. Clara crashed on the couch. Elias and I retreated to his room, bodies seeking solace. Slow undress, kisses like balm, hands mapping forgiveness. Peaks quiet, profound, sleep a shared harbor. Morning, Clara cooked pancakes, signing bad jokes. Family, makeshift but mending. But Monday loomed. Elias signed over coffee. About the frame job. Tyler, arrest pending. Relief flooded. And me? Fired the doubt, not you. Back Tuesday. But changes. Like public. No more hiding. Heart soared. Done. Work welcomed me wary. Stares, but Sophia's grin thawed. Elias called a team huddle. Personal news. Wyatt and I partners. Full support or find new ports. Murmurs, then claps. Tyler's arrest hit news. Corporate espionage. Grudge-fueled. Healing rippled. After hours, we signed plans, weekend getaway to the San Juans, kayaks and quiet. But midweek, curveball. Google ups the ante. Hostile bid whispers. Board fractures. Elias fights. Late nights, strategy war rooms. 1, 2 a.m., pizza boxes strewn, he signed. If we lose. We want. This is yours. Ours, he corrected, kiss ceiling. Yet loss nipped. A dev jumps ship to Google, taking code snippets. Paranoia returns, fingers pointing inward. Friday, board votes. Counteroffer or sell. Elias chooses fight. Lawsuits, PR blitz. But stress carves him hollow, migraines flaring silent screams. I nursed him home, ice packs and dim lights. Why me? He signed weak. Why now? Because redemption. Mine. Yours. His hand in mine. Love redeems. Weekend escape. Ferry to Orcas Island. Cabin on Moran State Park. Lake views, no signal. Hikes through Madrona Groves. Hands linked, signs echoing off ferns. Evenings by fire pit, stories of futures. Expanding to VR sign, global reach. One night, stars blanketing, he signed. Remember the river promise? Marry me? Shock joy, yes. Rings simple, titanium bands engraved with Wave ASL. Sealed with love under Cosmos. Back to Seattle, glow sustained. But bid escalates, Google sues for IP theft, citing the leak. Court dates loom. Elias steals were David. They Goliath. But Goliath swings. Subpoenas hit, digging into pasts. My Ridge Valley rumors unearthed in depots, twisted into character smears. Elias reads the filing, face paling. They use our history to break us. No, he signs fierce, to forge. Trial prep consumes, lawyers in suits sharky, mock crosses brutal. My turn, recount the betrayal raw under fluorescence. Why hide? Attorney probes. Fear, but love conquered. Elias testifies, unflinching. Thorn is for the silenced, won't sell soul. Jury sways, verdict nears. Nerve-fray eve, hotel near courthouse, we cling, bodies urgent, desperate, signing vows mid-thrust. Dawn breaks on win. Injunction granted, bid stalled. Elation erupts, team champagne, headlines hail underdog. But victory bittersweet. Richard emails, proud. In the stands, anonymously. Elias replies, maybe lunch, someday. Healing arcs. Our engagement news drops. Office party, Clara toasts. To loves that sign louder than words. Yet under joy, whisper. Is this end? Or intermission? The courtroom victory tasted like sea salt and vindication. Sharp on the tongue as we emerged into Seattle's relentless drizzle. Reporters flashing like faulty synapses. Elias fielded mics with that trademark poise, signing soundbites that made front pages. Innovation isn't acquired, it's authored. I hung back, his hand brushing mine in the scrum, a secret telegraph of we made it. But as the cab whisked us to Thorn, the high ebbed, replaced by a bone-deep weariness that clung like damp wool. The office erupted, streamers from who knows where. Sophia wielding a cake inscribed, David 1, Goliath 0. Toast sloshed, devs hugging Elias till he laughed that rare, vibrating chuckle. Me? They clapped my back. The quarterback who called the audible. But his eyes sought mine across the chaos, a pull stronger than any tide. Later, in his office with door barred, we collapsed onto the couch. Ties loosened, shirts untucked. He signed, hands lazy. Feels surreal, like waking from a bender. Good bender. I traced his knuckles. We slayed. We, emphasis on the plural, his fingers curling around mine. But Goliath's got lawyers. Round 2 looms. Then we gear up. Together. His kiss started soft. Gratitude blooming to hunger. Bodies molding on leather that creaked our rhythm. Silent urgency. Peaks crashing confidential. Afterglow a brief armistice. Clara threw our engagement bash midweek. A backyard affair at her rented Queen and house. String lights twinkling against evergreens. Potluck pierogies mingling with Seattle sushi rolls. 50 souls. Team users like Jamal DJing with haptic beats. Even Lena with her son. A shy teen signing jokes that cracked us up. Richard hovered periphery. Invited tentative. Gray suit stiff. Offering a handshake Elias accepted. Brief but seismic. Congrats, son, he said, voice gruff. Rings suit you. Thanks, Elias signed via Clara's relay. Stay for cake? He did. Awkward but present. Toasting with punch. To bridges rebuilt. Night wound down, fireworks optional. Guests drifting to ferries or Ubers. Alone on the deck, Elias and I swayed to phantom music, his head on my shoulder. Perfect, he murmured via breath. Almost. One missing. Dad? A nod. Progress. Healing's crooked path. Like us. Inside, Clara cornered us with champagne flutes. Spill. Wedding where? When? San Juan's summer. Small. Intimate. She beamed. I'll officiate. Got ordained online for a friend's nuptials. Deal. Laughter sealed it, but as she hugged goodbye, whispered to me, he's blooming. You're sunlight. Sunlight with shadows. Back at work, expansion fever gripped. Microsoft collab birthing app betas. Haptics evolving to AR overlays for real-time signing. My role swelled. Leading user councils, traveling to conferences in Austin and Boston. Elias thrived, but jet lag carved hollows. Calls at odd hours bridging time zones. One Chicago trip, hotel bar after a panel. A suit sidled up, Google exec olive branch disguised as scotch. Elias is visionary, he schmoozed. But visions need funding. Tell him we're still friends. Friends? I countered. Friends don't sue. Business. No hard feelings. He slipped a card. Think on it. Back in cabin fever, I relayed to Elias over video. Shark circling. Expected. His sign weary. But we're armored. Armor cracked subtle. Richard's lunches became weekly, neutral ground. Sushi in Bellevue. Stories unspooling slow. Elias shared prototypes. Richard listened, eyes misting at demos. One call, Elias to me post-meal, he's trying. Asking about you. Me? Said you're good for me. Steady. Warmth spread. Progress. But shadows lengthened. Anonymous emails hit my inbox. Ridge Valley ghosts. Jake's crew. Ferry quarterback sells out. Blocked, but poison seeped. Elias noticed my distraction during a strategy dinner. Signing over steak. What's eating? Old noise. Ignore. No ignoring when it escalated. Photos leaked online. Grainy teen shots from the river. Us blurred but unmistakable. Captioned, Thorne's dirty secret origins. Rage boiled. Jake, I knew, traced to a main dive, drunk posting from a flip phone. Elias saw the thread, face draining. This, again, not again. And I flew east next day, unannounced. Ridge Valley greeted gray. November chill biting. Docks empty but for gulls. Jake's trailer squatted on the outskirts. Truck rusted in weeds. He answered shirtless. Beer in fist. Sneer fading to shock. Harlan, the fuck? Talk, now. Inside reeked of stale smoke and defeat. Unemployed mill hand, walls papered in faded posters. We sat at a formica table, tension crackling. Why? I demanded. After all this time, he shrugged, swigging. Eli got famous. You too by proxy. Uneven score. Score? You bullied a kid. Destroyed him. Me. Eyes narrowed. You destroyed him first. Pushed him out. Coward. Guilt lanced. Yeah. Was. Fixed it. Lucky him. Me? Life shit. Thought. Exposure evens. Doesn't. Ends. I slid a check, $5,000. From savings. For silence. And therapy. Get help. He stared, then tore it. Fuck your pity. But, yeah, he'll stop. Doubt, but I left. Flight back lighter. Elias waited at Seattle-Tacoma. Sign. Resolved? Hoping. But scars show. Then scar together. Home, we burned the photos. Literal fire pit in Discovery Park. Ashes scattering to wind. Lover's ritual. Bodies following to sand. Waves lapping as we made love under moon. Tides of touch. Silent symphonies of release. Spring bloomed. Wedding planning a whirlwind. Venue. Lakeside cabin on Orcas. Vows under Madronas. Invite sparse. Clara officiating, Sophia maid of honor NG, Jamal on decks. Rings resized, suits tailored. Elias in midnight blue. Me charcoal. Boutonnieres of sea holly nodding to Maine coasts. But pre-wedding jitters hit. Bachelor Eve team bar crawl, shots and stories. Elias vanished mid-round. Phone dark. Panic spiked. I tracked to the pier, him staring at ferries, hands clenched. Hey, I signed soft. Runaway groom? Doubts. His sign's small. Am I enough? After all? Enough? You're everything. I pulled him close. Doubts are liars. Back to the bar, toasts raucous. His to Wyatt my anchor, my storm. Mine to Eli silence that roars. Wedding dawn. Ferry chugging, nerves electric. Cabin decked, wildflowers, arches of driftwood. Guests 30 strong. Richard in front row, eyes wet. Clara in rainbow stole. Dearly beloved. Vows exchanged, hands signing eternal. In waves and whispers, I choose you. Kiss sealed. Cheers erupted. Jamal dropping beats for first dance. Slow sway to an instrumental swell. Bodies synced flawless. Honeymoon. Road trip down Highway 101. Redwoods to Big Sur, campfires, cliff hikes, motels with squeaky beds. One night, under Humboldt stars, he signed. Best revenge? Loving you back. Heart full. Best life. Return to reality. Thorn exploding, apps topping charts. TED Talk invites piling. But domestic bliss tempered. Merged apartments into a Fremont loft. Views of the locks where salmon leap like hope. Yet conflict simmered. Richard pushed deeper. Weekend in Boston. Meet his world. Elias agreed, cautious. The visit. His brownstone crisp. Second wife warm, Lydia. Artist with hands like Elias's. Signing welcomes. Dinner elegant, but undercurrents. Richard's pride tales. Glossing old pains. Post-meal, father-son walk. Elias signed raw. Why leave? Richard halted, eyes down. Fear. Your mom said deafness permanent. I panicked. Thought distance helped. Didn't. No. Regrets my companion now. Forgive? Not yet, but trying. Back to Seattle, Elias lighter, but musing, families. Fractured mirrors. Ours men's. I kissed his temple. Summer waned. A user crisis hit. App glitch silencing haptics for a convention of deaf educators in DC emergency flight. Me coordinating ground. Elias on stage fixing live. Heroics viral, but toll heavy. Home exhausted, he crashed. I cooked pasta, but found him awake, signing from bed. Nightmares. Ridge Valley again. Tell me. The push. Your face. Betrayal loop. I slid beside, holding. Rewrite it. Here now, love wins. Hands wandered. Comfort to carnal. Release a exorcism. Fall brought awards, Elias Fast Company cover. Us red carpet at TechCrunch disrupt. Flashbulbs popped. His hand in mine public. Headlines. Power couple codifies silence. But power invites envy. Anonymous tip to board. My instability from past. Attached Jake's old posts. Sophia quashed, but Elias confronted gentle. Ghosts again? Burying them. Permanently. Therapy joint. Counselor a deaf queer vet. Session signing depths. My turn. Fear made me betray. Love redeems. Elias. Pain built walls. You tore them. Progress palpable. Holiday loomed. Joint family trip? Richard suggested Maine neutral roots. Elias to me. Scared? Petrified. But yes. Ridge Valley winter. Snow blanketing docks. My dad waiting at the airport. older, softer. Handshake evolved to hug. Dinner at the old house. Awkward charades but Richard signing basics, learned for this easing ice. Stories flowed. My mom's recipes, Elias's prototypes demoed on iPads. Nightcap, dad's to me proud, son. Of this. Thanks, pop means world. Elias and I walked the frozen river, breath clouds mingling. Full circle, he signed. Stronger loop. Yet as snow fell, a call. Google appeals verdict. Round 3. Battle resumes. But now united, unbreakable. Winter's grip on Ridge Valley loosened slow, like a reluctant lover. But the thaw in our makeshift family dinner lingered warmer than any hearth. Dad's kitchen, once a battlefield of silences, echoed with tentative laughter. Richard mangling SL toasts, Clara coaching with exaggerated flair, Elias's eyes crinkling at the edges as he corrected mid-sign. My hand found his under the table, fingers interlocking in a vow quieter than words. We'd survived the ghosts, and they'd only fattened our armor. Back in Seattle by New Year's, the city shimmered under fresh snow, Space Needle aglow like a beacon mocking our fatigue. The Google appeal loomed, a February hearing in federal court, San Francisco, where suits would dissect our code like coroners at an autopsy. Elias Dove and Ruthless. Mock trials in the loft, pizza-fueled war rooms till dawn, his hands signing strategies that blurred into caresses when frustration peaked. One midnight, mid-rebuttal, he paused, green eyes locking mine. If we lose, empire crumbles. Then rebuild smaller, authentier. I pulled him to the rug, kisses derailing debate. Your heart's the code, uncrackable. Bodies followed script, urgent, affirming, peaks a defiant roar against uncertainty. Sleep tangled, dreams of rivers running clear. Clara moved stateside permanent. Condo in Ballard, consulting gig at Thorne, her presence a buoy. Richard visited monthly, lunches evolving to game nights. His signing clumsy but earnest. Learning for grandkids someday? He'd quip, Elias deflecting with blushes and eye rolls. Our life wove domestic poetry. Mornings with espresso and crosswords, him sketching clues, me fumbling signs, evenings kayaking the sound, weekends lost in San Juan trails. Wedding photos framed the loft, us under madronas, windswept and whole. Reminders that love wasn't absence of storm, but dancing in it. But appeals grind souls. San Fran trip, fog-shrouded courtroom, Judge stern as granite, Google's counsel a viper in pinstripes. They hammered the leak, internal sabotage via Harlan's access, flashing my badge logs like scarlet letters. Elias testified first, unflinching under cross. Mr. Thorne, your partner's past, betrayals documented in main filings. Doesn't that suggest instability? His hand steady, relayed via interpreter. Past shapes, doesn't define. Wyatt's my strength. Our story fuels this company. For the betrayed, the silenced. My turn gutted deeper. Recounting Ridge Valley raw, the push by the river, redemption's arc. I broke him once. Now I build with him. That's stability. Jury deliberated 3 days. Endless hotel walks. Chinatown dim sum for distraction. Bodies clinging nightly like lifelines. Verdict dropped on a Tuesday. Injunction upheld. Sanctions on Google for bad faith. Elation seismic. Hugs in the hall. Headlines screaming, Thorne triumphs. Accessibility over ambition. Return flight. Elias's head on my shoulder. Sign sleepy. Free. Finally. Thorne soared post-win. Stock doubled. TEDx invites flooded. A Netflix doc pitched on our love and code saga. We greenlit cautious. Interviews signing our truths, no gloss. Personal tides turned too. Dad visited spring. Fly fishing the Yakima. Rods whipping silent symphonies. His gruff, missed this, son, over campfire trout the closest to absolution. Richard tagged along once, trio awkward but bonding over flies and failures. Elias's migraines eased. Therapy, a weekly ritual, now group, with users sharing silence stories. One session, he signed to the circle. Deafness wasn't curse. It was compass, to Wyatt, to this. Summer hummed. Anniversary hike in the Olympics. Wild blueberries staining fingers. Lovemaking in a tent to owl calls. Talk turned legacy. Kids? Adoption whispers, surrogacy dreams. Little signs in the house. He mused, hand on my belly whimsical. Fall brought launches, AR glasses debuting at CES. Me on stage beside him, demoing live translations that drew tears from crowds. Backstage kiss. Partners in crime. Partners in revolution. But humanity's the rub. A user crisis. Teen in rural Idaho. App glitch failing during a bullying meltdown. Spiral to despair. Elias flew there unannounced, workshop with the school, hands-on fixes, emerging with the kids' hug, a drawing of superhero signing. Home, he crashed emotional. One life, worth every fight. All are. I held him, hearts drumming tandem. Winter circled again. Second anniversary eve. Surprise dinner at our wedding cabin. Snow blanketing the lake. Candlelight flickered, salmon sizzling. His gift a sketchbook. Pages of our life. River boys to boardroom kings, intertwined. Mine tickets to Maine summer. Full circle. With rings. Tears traced his cheeks, signs soft. Love you. Beyond words. Bed that night, slow reverence. Explorations like first times. Every touch a chapter closed, new begun. Peaks whispered eternities. Dawn gilding us gold. Years blurred forward. Thorn global, outposts in Berlin, Tokyo, sign languages woven seamless. We adopted. Twin boys from foster, deaf and hearing. Chaos of bottles and baby signs filling the loft expanded to suburb. Dad retired to a cabin near us, fishing with grandsons. Richard walked one down the aisle at their quince. Proud papa twice over. Reflections came quiet. Porch swings in twilight. Elias's head on my lap. Signing. Best revenge? You falling for me again. Truth. Heart mended. Not despite breaks, but through them. Compassion's chain. From betrayal's sting to freedom's flight. Identities owned unapologetic. In America's vast quilt. Maine coasts to Pacific rims. We stitched our square, threads of ache and adore, proving love's the ultimate hack. Unbreakable code for souls adrift.